Attachment to his lotus feet is the perfection that fulfills all desires. He opens my darkened eyes and fills my heart with transcendental knowledge. He is my Lord, birth after birth. From him aesthetic prema emanates. By him ignorance is destroyed. The Vedic scriptures sing of his character. Our spiritual master is the ocean of mercy, the friend of the poor, and the Lord and master of the devotees. O Master, be merciful unto us. Give us the shade of your lotus feet. May your fame be spread all over the three worlds. Shri Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopichana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Gopichana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Ashtotra Sattva Shri Srimad Srila Abhayacharana Ravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Ashtotra Sattva Shri Srimad Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for coming to Srimad Bhagavatam class. One other devotee requested me to replace him on the pretext that I just came from Sridham Mayapur, and hopefully there is a few particles of dust of the holy Dham that remained, that entered into my consciousness, and I will pray that Lord Chaitanya's mercy will somehow or other manifest in some of the words. So we continue reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 30, Text 28. We'll start with the invocation. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Etavat tvam hi vibhutpir
Etavatvam hi vibhupir
Bhavyam dineshu vatsalai
Bhavyam dineshu vatsalai
Yat anusmaryate kale Kale Svabhutya Bhadra Randhana
Svabhutya Bhadra Randhana
Itavat Tvam Hi Vibhupir
Etavat Tvam Hi Vibhupir
Bhavyam Dineshu Vatsalai
Bhavyam Dineshu Vatsalai
Yat Anusmaryate Kale
Yat Anusmaryate Kale
Svabhutya Bhadra Randhana
Svabhutya Bhadra Randhana
Etavat Tvam Hi Vibhupir
Etavat Tvam Hi Vibhupir
Bhavyam Dineshu Vatsalai
Bhavyam Dineshu Vatsalai
Yat Anusmaryate Kale
Yat Anusmaryate Kale
Svabhutya Bhadra Randhana
Svabhutya Bhadra Randhana
Etavat Tvam Hi Vibhupir
Etavat Tvam Hi Vibhupir
Bhavyam Dineshu Vatsalai
Bhavyam Dineshu Vatsalai
Yad Anusmaryate Kale
Yat Anusmaryate Kale
Svabhutya Bhadra Randhana
Svabhutya Bhadra Randhana
Etavat Tvam Hi Vibhupir
Etavat Tvam Hi Vibhupir
Bhavyam Dineshu Vatsalai
Bhavyam Dineshu Vatsalai
Yat Anusmaryate Kale
Anusmaryate Kale
Svabhutya Bhadra Randhana
Svabhutya Bhadra Randhana
Etavat Tvam Hi Vibhupir
Etavat Tvam Hi Vibhupir
Bhavyam Dineshu Vatsalai
Bhavyam Dineshu Vatsalai
Yat Anusmaryate Kale
Yat Anusmaryate Kale
Svabhutya Bhadra
Svabhutya
Randhana
Bhadra Randhana. Ladies. Etavat Tvam Hi Vibhupir Bhavyam Dineshu Vatsalai Yat Anusmaryate Kale
Svabhutya Bhadra Randhana
Word-to-word translation. Etavat,
Etavat
thus, Tvam, your Lordship, He, certainly, Vibhubhi,
Vibhubhi
by expansions,
by expansions
Bhavyam,
Bhavyam
to be convinced,
to be convinced
to be conceived,
to be conceived
Dineshu,
Dineshu
unto the humble devotees,
unto the humble devotees
Vatsalai,
Vatsalai
compassionate,
compassionate
Yat,
Yat
which,
which
Anusmaryate,
Anusmaryate
is always remembered,
is always remembered
Kale,
Kale
in due course of time,
in due course of time
Svabhutya,
Svabhutya
by one's devotional service,
by one's devotional service
Abhadra Randhana,
Abhadra Randhana
O killer of all inauspiciousness.
O killer of all inauspiciousness.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki.
Jai.
Translation. Dear Lord, you are the killer of all inauspicious things. You are compassionate upon your poor devotees through the expansion of your Archa Vigraha. You should certainly think of us as your eternal servants. Purport. The form of the Lord known as Archa Vigraha is an expansion of His unlimited potencies. When the Lord is gradually satisfied with the service of a devotee, in due course of time He accepts the devotee as one of His many unalloyed servants. By nature, the Lord is very compassionate. Therefore, the service of neophyte devotees is accepted by the Lord as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yome bhaktya prayachati tat aham bhaktiparitam ashnami prayatatmanaha. If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, fruit or water, I accept it. The devotee offers eatables in the form of vegetables, fruits, leaves and water to the Archa Vigraha. The Lord, being Bhakta Vatsala, compassionate upon his devotees, accepts these offerings. Atheists may think that the devotees are engaged in idol worship, but the fact is different. Janardana, the Supreme Lord, accepts bhava, the attitude of service. The neophyte devotees engaged in the worship of the Lord may not understand the value of such worship, but the Supreme Lord, being Bhakta Vatsala, accepts his devotee and in due course of time takes him home. In this connection, there is a story about a Brahmana who was offering sweet rice to the Lord within his mind. The Brahmana had no money nor any means of worshipping the deity, but within his mind he arranged everything nicely. He had gold pots to bring water from the sacred rivers to wash the deity, and he offered the deity very sumptuous food, including sweet rice. Once before he offered the sweet rice, he thought that it was too hot, and he thought, "Oh, let me taste it. My, it is very hot." When he put his finger in the sweet rice to test it, he didn't taste it, he just tested it. His finger was burned and his meditation broken. Although he was offering food to the Lord within his mind, the Lord accepted it nonetheless. Consequently, the Lord in Vaikuntha immediately sent a chariot to bring the Brahmana back to Godhead. Thus, it is the duty of every sincere devotee to accept the Archa Vigraha at home or in the temple and worship the form of the Lord as advised in authorized scriptures and directed by the spiritual master. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitan Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamayam Dadati Svavadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutavata Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Zagrachatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyaivacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nama Om Vishnupataya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Praschata Deshatarini. Repeat the verse. Dear Lord, you are the killer of all inauspicious things. You are compassionate upon your poor devotees through the expansion of your Archa Vigraha. You should certainly think of us as your eternal servants. So request the blessings of all the devotees assembled, that I may say something which is beneficial for all of us and will help all of us to come closer to Krishna. Because apparently by regular attendance of Srimad Bhagavatam class and serving the pure devotee, all the things that are troublesome within the heart are gradually removed, and pure devotional service is established within the heart as an irrevocable fact. So we hope that this discussion will help to effect this. This is the pastime of the Prachetas, and the Prachetas went to meditate for 10,000 years. In short, they went to meditate for 10,000 years by the instruction in order to please their father, King Prachinapari. And here we specifically we hear about Krishna's appearance as the Archa Vigraha, which is the deity form of Krishna, Murti on the altar. And although deity worship used to be one of the Yuga avatars, in which Yuga? Does anybody know? Dwapar Yuga? Yes, that was the previous age. Yes. Where it was considered the Yuga Dharma, the very means of attaining the perfection of life. In the Kali Yuga, although the congregational chanting of the holy name is the Yuga Dharma, still deity worship is considered one of the 5 most important aspects of bhakti, and which are they're called Panchanga Bhakti, the 5 most important limbs of bhakti, which Lord Chaitanya, through his example and also through his teachings, emphasized. And this is from Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila in chapter 22, text 128. It's written, Sadhu Sangha Nama Kirtana Bhagavatas Shravan Mathura Vasa Shri Murtira Shradhaya Sevana. Sadhu Sangha, the translation, one should associate with devotees, chant the holy name of the Lord, hear Srimad Bhagavatam, reside in Mathura and worship the deity with faith and veneration. So these are the core principles of bhakti. And of course, there are the 9 processes also mentioned in the Bhagavatam. But this is a little bit more condensed version. So the first one, Sadhu Sangha, without association of devotees, one cannot really get very far in bhakti. And I remember one devotee, senior devotee, who was for me, a very vivid example of somebody who's very absorbed in their service. And he was he was doing. He's still alive. Actually, I believe so. He's doing most menial service in one temple as the temple commander. But temple commander is not. It has different meanings in different temples, and some places it's just somebody who, with the finger says like, you do this, you do that, like a commander in the army. But in his case, it was more, taking the broom and doing the service yourself, just do the cleaning. And he was telling me that in his early years of Krishna consciousness, he was very he liked to be alone. He didn't, although he was doing preaching every day. He had a book table outside, and he was sometimes doing kirtan there by himself and selling books, but he didn't have devotee association. But he considered himself very, very fulfilled, and he was happy and satisfied. But then one devotee told him that you should come to the temple, live in the temple, live in the ashram. So he accepted this advice, and he moved into the ashram, and he realized that it's a completely different. It takes your devotional service to a completely different level, and you start to realize all the shortcomings that we have, which we don't notice when we are alone. Only, yes. Of course, introspection is a very important aspect of our life. Without introspection, even if somebody tells you that you're doing something wrong, if you're not introspective, you will not get it. It will just not sink in. So, but introspection is important. But we need devotees around us to constantly remind us, not always verbally, but also sometimes just by their presence, what we need to work on. And also, of course, inspiring us. Devotees generally try to be like the bee, the bumblebee, who is able to find the nectar everywhere. But if there is some place where there's a lot of nectar, then the bee will go there. So devotees always try to find a place where they can find more nectar, which is in the association of the devotees. And on the other hand, the fly, we know the fly can find some faults and everywhere, and not be satisfied anywhere. And this is the first principle of Panchanga Bhakti. Then there is Namakirtan, chanting of the holy name, which is the Yuga Dharma. But you cannot even take to the Yuga Dharma without the association of sadhus, which is interesting. Then Bhagavat Shravan, Srimad Bhagavatam, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, and Mathura Vas, living in a holy place, which in one sense also means to live physically in a place like Vrindavan and Mayapur, but also to ensure that your home becomes a holy place. So whatever is required to do that, we have to make the arrangements by either physically going to Holy Dham or by making our home into a dam. And last principle, last but not least, is Srimurti Shraddhaya Sevan, which is the worship of the deity form of the Lord. So we see that all these 5 aspects are being taught by Lord Chaitanya for this Kali Yuga. So it's not, there may be other lists from other scriptures which are more ancient, but this is specifically for us, for the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. Also, Lord Chaitanya instructed his disciples, the 6 Goswamis, to go to Vrindavan for one reason was to establish deity worship, to re-establish the worship of the 7 main deities in Vrindavan. And there's a story where Lord Chaitanya, Sanatana Goswami, on his travels, he came to the house of a Brahmana, I believe, called Chobe. Is that correct? Does anyone remember? And he was staying there for, I think, only one night, and he saw that the children in this house were playing with the deity like a doll. Took him from the altar and dressed him up, and so he was a little bit disturbed in his mind, and he was thinking, this is not proper. But I think he didn't say anything. Or did he say something? Maybe he said something. Maybe he had some doubts in his mind that this is not proper. But then in the next night, Lord Chaitanya appeared in his dream, and he said that why did you correct him? Why are you telling? I'm very happy there. Usually I'm just standing on the altar and it's very boring. Somebody's waving the incense and it's not much happening. But at least here the children, they have some. They do something. They're playing with me and express their affection by playing with me. And then Sanatana Goswami felt very bad. He's thinking, oh my God, what did I do? I'm so attached to rules and regulations, and I could not even see the spontaneous devotional service that these devotees were doing. So then next day he went and he wanted to ask forgiveness. But then this Chobe, he came first and he said that the deity appeared in my dream and told me that please let me go with Sanatana Goswami. So although the deity was appreciating the spontaneous mood that the devotees had there, he wanted to go with Sanatana Goswami so that he could properly establish the worship according to rules and regulations of deity worship. And the reason is not because this is more pleasing to Krishna, but because it is more important for the sadhakas. It's important for the sadhakas to worship the deities according to the rules and regulations, because we don't know how to please Krishna. And by doing this, by learning how to worship Krishna according to the standards, we can gradually develop, at least this is the idea, that we gradually develop a deep connection with the deities, and then we understand, slowly it will become more personal. We understand, we can hear the deities talking to us and giving us personal instruction. Oh, you should do this, I want to get this fruit, and I want, paint some of these color dots on my face. So, and there is space for all of this within the safe environment of the deity worship standard. There is some space for spontaneity, right? Creativity. And there are there are 64 items of deity worship, and I thought that just because this is the subject matter here, it would be interesting just to go through them, and just to ensure that it doesn't go into one ear and just comes out on the other ear. It would be nice if maybe everybody could reflect which points, maybe some of the points are more interesting, some of those 64 principles that you find, oh, I never heard about this, or I have some doubts, or I think this would be very beneficial. So it would be nice if at least some of the devotees could share afterwards, after reading through this, their thoughts. Just to bear this in mind, that you will be speaking, if you're okay with that. Actually, before we go through this, let me just quickly go again over the points that Srila Prabhupada is pointing out here. One was the spontaneous this particular devotee was doing Manasa Puja. He was a very simple and poor Brahmana, and he couldn't afford to do all the worship with all this paraphernalia. And he was attending Srimad Bhagavatam class, and one day he heard that puja can be done in the mind. And so he started doing this, and that's how he achieved perfection. And very important here is, Srila Prabhupada points out, is the bhav. Krishna is Janardhan, he's within the heart, and he understands the mood in which the service is done. So, whether it's Manasa Puja, whether it's puja on the altar, or just standing in front of the deities and doing kirtan or offering a prayer, which are also part of deity worship, by the way. He's only interested in the mood. It's not the motions. The motions are helpful for us sometimes to just get into the habit of practicing, but we have to make an extra effort to actually get into to develop some internal some bhav, some affection for Krishna. And then last point is that deity worship is important for neophyte devotees, right? It doesn't mean that everyone who's worshipping deities is a neophyte devotee. In contrary, actually, that even the most elevated devotees, like the 6 Goswamis, they're showing by example that even on such a high level, one is attached to the deities, and that's where then all these pastimes manifest, like Shakshi Gopal, where the deity was moving because he had such a pure faith that the deity is none different of Krishna. So, but for the neophyte devotees, it's we still have to aim to get there, or I still have to work on this to understand that the deities are none different of Krishna. Okay, so let's go to the 64 items. Please pay attention. This is from Hari Bhakti Vilas, by the way, which has been compiled by Sanatana Goswami and Gopal Bhatta Goswami. For the devotees, right? So, in Hari Bhakti Vilas, there is a vivid description of what is required in deity worship. There are 64 items mentioned. In the temple worship should be charges that all 64 items should be available for the satisfaction of the personality of Godhead. Sometimes it is impossible to get all 64 items. Therefore, we recommend that at least on the first day of installation, all 64 items should be available. So when this is not Prabhupada saying, it's just on devotee. On the first day of when the deities are installed, usually all these 64 items are offered, and on a daily basis we have the 16 items which are offered. Anyway, 16 upachars, 16 items of worship, and then there are other items also. But let's start. Like the first one, we also have, even before you enter the temple, is there. Can anybody guess what the first item is?
The bell.
Yes, I told you, right? Okay. So, the 64 items are as follows. Number 1, there must be a big bell hanging in front of the temple room so that whoever comes into the room can ring the bell. That's the first item. This item is called prabodhana, or offering oneself submissively to the Lord. This is the first item. Okay. The visitor, number 2, the visitor must chant Jai Shri Radhe Govinda or Jai Shri Radha Madhav, Jai Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra. We usually say the names of the deities when you enter, in your mind or quietly. Jai Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Ki Jai, Shri Gonitai Ki Jai. And then we enter the temple. Number 3, one should immediately offer obeisances to the Lord, falling down like a stick. So usually we first go to Srila Prabhupada and then to the deities. And there must be regular Mangalarti in the temple during the early morning, an hour and a half before sunrise. So we got that. There must be an asan, a sitting place before the altar. Yeah, we have that usually during Bhoga offering. The asan is for the spiritual master. Oh. The asan is for the spiritual master. The disciple brings everything before the spiritual master, and the spiritual master offers everything to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, so it's this asan there, where, the pujari, on behalf of Srila Prabhupada, and his spiritual master is offering everything to the deities. After Mangalarti, the deity is supposed to be washed. The deity is supposed to wash his teeth by using a twig. Therefore, a twig must be offered. It's interesting how it's written that the deity must wash their teeth. So we do this in the morning. We have like a little toothstick for cleaning deity's teeth. Water for Achaman should be offered. We do this after every offering on the altar. Madhupark, a small bowl containing honey, ghee, water, sugar, yogurt and milk. This is a sweet drink that is offered, which is, later mixed with the Charnamrit. So what we're drinking there is not pure Charnamrit technically, it's actually this Madhupark plus some of the Charnamrit, which is the bathing water, mixed in. So just, and I think now the Charnamrit they usually serve there in the Prasadam hall. Then the 11th item is one should place wooden slippers before the Lord. One should massage the body of the Lord. One should massage the body of the Lord with oil. Okay, so these are 3 items. The wooden slippers. We have golden slippers. Probably the devotees, I think generally the devotees think gold is better than wood. But if you go to Mayapur, you can see that the Panchatattva, they have wooden slippers. They're very opulent with engravings and inlaid stones, very beautiful. And when Janani was Prabhu, he traveled around the world to collect money for the TOVP. He took the padukas of Lord Nityananda with him, and he, put on everyone's head. I've seen this at the manor, and very nice. Massaging the Lord, and also massaging the Lord with oil. So usually before the deities take rest, we massage them briefly, but massaging with oil is done before the bath. Even from Ayurvedic point of view, you generally, if you massage your body with oil, you do that before you take bath, not after. Because your pores get blocked up. Then, of course, the deities they have a different body than us, but we want to worship them as persons. With a soft, wet sponge, one should remove all the oil smeared over the Lord's body. One should bathe the Lord with water in which nicely scented flowers have been soaking for some time. After bathing the body of the Lord, sometimes we put some rose water because the flowers just don't smell here. And with the scented water we bathe the deities. After bathing the body of the Lord with water, one should bathe him with milk. Then one should bathe him with yogurt. Then one should bathe him with ghee. Then one should bathe him with honey. Then one should bathe him with water in which sugar has been dissolved. And then one should wash the deity with water and chant the mantra. A mantra. Chintamani prakarasatma sukalpa vriksha laksha vritesha surabhira pipalayantam lakshmi sahasra sata sambrama sevyamanam govindamati purusham tamaham vachami. It's one verse from Brahma Samhita. And one should dry the entire body of the Lord with a towel. A new dress should be put on the Lord's body. A sacred thread should be placed on his body, so depending on who the person is. Like Gaur-Nitai, they both have sacred thread, and I'm not sure about Jagannath and Baladev. Do they have? No? Okay.
Usually it's in drawing.
Yes.
It's in drawing.
Oh, it's drawn. Okay, so
Yeah.
that's why. But otherwise, like Krishna Balaram, they are both, in their pastime, they're twice born. So they have the thread. That's why. And Subhadra Devi doesn't. Usually ladies don't wear the thread. And Srila Prabhupada also has the thread. And Radharani doesn't wear a thread. Okay, so we come to number 25. Water should be offered for cleansing the mouth, achaman. Then nicely scented oil like liquid sandalwood pulp should be smeared over the Lord's body. We usually apply just a small amount of sandalwood pulp on the feet together with tulsi leaf. And especially in India where it's more hot, sometimes they put all over the forehead. And then there is the Chandan Yatra, which is actually starting soon. It's usually in April, May, which is 21 days where the deities are completely covered in Chandan, in sandalwood pulp. You can see, everything is, and sometimes they add some colors. And I believe this tradition comes from the story of Gopinath deity, that was feeling very hot, and then he instructed Madhavendra Puri to go and get some sandalwood. And it was a long journey, and so anyway, this is where it comes from. Sandalwood pulp cools the body, has a very cooling effect. All kinds of ornaments and crowns should be placed on his body. Then one should offer flower garlands and decorative flowers. One should burn incense, lamps should be offered, precautions should always be taken so the demons and atheists cannot harm the body of the Lord. Yeah, we have the gate, right? And yeah, it's there. I mean, sometimes children, come and crawl onto the altar, which is not quite the same, but still the pujari has to be careful that nobody goes and takes things down. And at the manor there was a story. One man just ran onto the altar and wanted to, do something to the deities, pull down the deities. And one pujari who has now passed away, Jivapati Prabhu, he took Hanuman's club and he whacked him on the head. And he protected the deities like this. And even now they're keeping this club after 20-30 years. You can see a dent in the club. Yeah, very nice. So then 32. I don't think we can get through all of them, but read few more. Huh?
I also do not think
yes.
possible.
Okay, so we finish with 32. It's half of the items we have. Number 32 is food offerings should be placed before the Lord. Jai. Mahaprashan ki jai. Breakfast ki jai. Okay, and there's much more. You can look it up yourself if you want. One should, and number 64, last one, is one should place the Lord on a bed and massage his feet. This is what we do, last offering in the evening. We massage the feet and then deities go to sleep. Would anybody like to share? Time is up, but just 1 minute. If somebody wants to just share briefly something specific.
We almost do everything.
Yes, we almost.
Until now. The next half I don't know yet.
Yeah. I mean, we don't bathe the deity with all these different
Yeah, but the
things.
Shilas, of course we do.
Yes, that's true. Actually, yes, there is there.
You
Yes.
don't bathe them with milk, yogurt, honey.
No,
No.
that we have.
That's
Madhuparaka.
Madhuparaka. But that's a
That's
separate
Madhuparaka.
item. But we don't bathe them.
And Arkyam is also not charnam. Like Arkyam is just offered for cleansing. So, but when we have the festivals, usually we offer all the 64 items also, I believe. Is there? Okay. Anything more?
So we need to also know about 64 offenses, which we can.
Yes.
Because we
Actually,
we like some
yes,
sweets.
very
but-
interesting. Very interesting. At first,
Points have two sides all time.
yes.
So,
I was first thinking of doing this 64 offenses, but I thought, no, this is more important because you first have to know what you should do, and then it's easier to avoid the offenses actually. But yeah, maybe another time. Okay, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki. Oh, sorry, what? One. Okay, after we'll do the question after. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai.
His Holiness Sundar Jagannath Prabhu ki jai.
It's a sign.
it's about Sundar Jagannath. Sundar Jagannath. It's about your trip. Who wrote this?
Und haben Sie einen Deckel für die Sauerstoff? Nein, okay. Ich kann das. Ja, ja.
Such an impressive, it was simple, it was based on these 5 principles.
Ja, und schnell.
Die Anweisung aus dem Bhagavatam.
Was hat er und seht sie.
So,
Das sind die Anweisungen.
plan our life in a way that
Das hat er auch getan.
Deswegen.
Aber ich weiß nicht, wahrscheinlich viele man gesehen haben, das weiß ich nicht.
Was ist das nächste Kampf?
Das war doch ein bisschen also das Zählchen, das ist speziell und das, was Gott dann gegeben hat, und dann kommen damit
that's why it's so complicated.
die kann nur sagen, viel zu viel. Weißt du, die brauchen gar nicht viel. Ich weiß nicht, wie viele, how many flowers do you need a day for the sea? He has to collect them.
I can tell you 1, 2, 3. 10, 13 pieces. 3, 16. 16, 3, 19. 19, 3. Around 25.
25. It's what Damodar told me. But yesterday I got a message from
Three, yeah.
where and he asked me to bring a lot of flowers, much more, even for Prabhupada Puja.
25 is not including Prabhupada Puja.
Yes, it's what Damodar told me. 25 around, it's good. And I did it always.
Yeah. If you add Prabhupada Puja, then it's like 3 for the arati, and that is separate. So 25 to 28 just for the arati, excluding the petals. So if you have petals, then there's more.
Yeah.
If you have petals.
Rosenblätter, die Gardens, oder?
Yes.
Weil der sind so viel zu viel auch, oder?
Yeah, yeah. So it's basically 25 to 28 whole flowers.
Yeah.
And better maybe like one handful. So if you get 30 pieces, then it comes everything.
Okay, but because yesterday I brought really a lot.
Ja,
Because
We see that.
und die Löwenzahn, die schließen sich ziemlich schnell.
ja, abends sind die zu oder morgens sind die wieder auf oder?
Ja, kommt drauf an, was für Bedingungen, wenn sie Licht haben schon, oder? Genug. Dann
Das ist dann gar nicht.
Ja.
Mit tagsüber sind die offen.
Ja.
Aber abends gehen die immer zu.
Ja. Und die öffnen sich aber nur, wenn die Sonne scheint.
Ah.
Weil, wenn es regnet ist oder bedeckt, dann öffnen sie sich nicht. Interessant.
Okay.
Ja.
Was?
Ja, das ist so. Und wenn man sie natürlich trifft, dann gehen sie wieder zu.
Und bleiben jetzt so?
Ja.
Ich wusste nicht. Ich habe mir die ganze Zeit überlegt, morgen um 4 Uhr sind die Schlosser geöffnet.
Ja, sind die geschlossen. Ja.
And one thing you do, when you put these roses or flowers on the garland, instead of putting water, you put a paper, wet paper.
Yes.
Because in water they become spoiled. So you just wet a paper and you line it nicely with the wet paper, then you put the flowers and again you cover with the wet paper. Not very wet, but damp. Yeah. Because when it's water, it goes again fast.
Yeah.
Sorry, then you need healing also. This is for the whole day, what we collect.
Yeah. So if he gives a wet paper, and then the pujari should see if the paper is dry, he will wet it. But he can't be the whole day doing this.
Yeah, of course.
So once he puts a damp paper, then everybody else sees. But yeah, around 25 to 30 is good.
Okay, super, nice. I will tell it Mama.
No, don't tell her anything. You just.
This is not here, you know.
Okay.
She doesn't know how it.
She doesn't know even. Because as
She's responsible for flowers, that's true. But this is now your sale and you have to know how to do it.
Okay.
I don't know why she
Because the
wrote
thing
you.
is, if you tell her and then again she'll say no this, no that, but now you know what to do.
Yes.
So you just do yourself.
Everything is fine.
Yeah.
It's the same like Damodar told me the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay.